Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this analysis session of your science board exam that happened today. I hope all of you had a very good exam as such. I believe so that the paper was not that tough. Some of you are already commenting in the chat box as what I can see. Yes, paper might be a bit lengthy as expected. I can clearly observe from that. Okay, I can clearly see that yes, definitely the paper was a bit might be a bit lengthy for some of you guys if you were kind of stuck with the diagrams or the by for like getting to the derivations in the physics numericals that were the physics portions that were asked as such. But overall, yes, definitely compared to the previous year, yes, a bit paper was a bit easier side on an easier side as such. I'm going to discuss now each and every question. We'll try to discuss not in detail about each and every question, but yes, I'll try to discuss all of the questions as such, as well as the VBQ question that came from your biology portion. And so let's begin our session with from the very first question that we have. That is, as you can see, that I'm going to discuss about the set 2 of the Delhi region, and I believe so that most of the that basically all the sets were having the same question. So you can just have a look at the different questions which are present in your sets and compare with that as well. And I'm expecting that all of you are already carrying your question paper along with you, so that I don't have to show you the numericals or the questions as such over here. I'm directly going to discuss the solutions as such. Okay, so let's begin our discussion. The very first question from the Delhi set 2 portion over here, you can see, yes, a very simple question from your this hydropower plant. What is the energy conversion that takes place over here? That is, you can see that the potential energy that is stored in the water that gets converted into the kinetic energy, and then it is converted or then it is used to generate your electrical energy. So that would be the right answer for the very first question of this particular set. Moving on to the next question, that is from your biology portion. Yes, in this question you can see the answer would be the violet color. Why is that so? Because violet is the dominant character in the P as such. That is the reason that the answer for this one will be the violet color as such. Okay, moving on to the third question. Yes, this third question that you can see over here was a bit tricky. What was the reason for that? Because in this particular question, what you had to tell the organ's name and not the receptor's name in this third question. And so the organ's name would be, for the gustatory receptor it would be your tongue, and for the olfactory receptor it would be your nose. That would be the right answer for this particular question. A bit tricky question as such over here. Fine. The B part of the third question, you can see it was a flow chart sort of a thing, and you were supposed to write down that what are the A and the B in that particular flow chart. The A part would be, you can write down it as body or cytone, and the B part of that particular flow chart would be your axon. So that would be the right answer for the third portion, the B part of the third question. Now again, the fourth question that you can see is again based on your physics portion over here. And yes, I had already mentioned in my strategy session that happened on 13th of March. I had already mentioned that you need to be very much comfortable with all the specific cases of the convex mirror, of the spherical mirrors and the lenses. So you can directly see that in this question number 4, the question has been asked based on the different cases of your convex mirror that you can clearly see over here. So the correct answer, basically in this fourth question, there will be two cases, and in both the cases the image that is formed is your the one that is mentioned is your erect and diminished. You can see that the one in one of the cases, when the object is placed between pole and the infinity, over here the image is formed, it is going to be erect and diminished, as well as when the object is at infinity, again the image is having the same nature, that is your erect and diminished. So the correct answer would be your convex mirror. Okay, moving on to the next question, that is question number 5, that is from your chemistry portion. Yes, it was a bit tricky question, this question number 5 over here, but the reactions as such that are mentioned, you can see over here, they are all from NCERT. These reactions are already present in your NCERT as such. Okay, so in this fifth question as such, the correct answer, you can see that what is going to be your X and what is going to be your Y and the Z. The correct answer for that is your X is going to be an alcohol. You can clearly mention, you can clearly observe over here that X is going to be your alcohol. Yes. Y will be your alkene, and Z, the gas that has been mentioned over here, the colorless gas, will be your hydrogen gas as such. Okay, and for elaborating on that particular solution, you can see some of the reactions which are mentioned over here. That is for your C2H5, as well as for this. You can see that over here, this alkene is formed, or this alkene is formed, and this your hydrogen gas is being evolved in this particular reaction. And what about the role of the sulfuric acid? Yes, it is used as a dehydrating agent in this particular above reaction. That is going to be the answer for my fifth question. Moving on to the sixth question, again a very simple question that is based on the laws of refraction, the two very simple laws of refraction which you have been studying since your grade 8th, I believe so, if I'm not wrong. For some of you guys, I believe so. You can see the very simple one, that is your incident, refractor, and the normal will lie on the same plane. That is going to be the first law. And the second one is your very favorite, that is your Snell's law. Okay, and the relationship that was asked for this Snell's law, the mathematical relationship that was asked for this second law as such over here is mentioned over here. Very simple relationship which you should have got it correct as such. Okay. Then the second part was that finding that what exactly is absolute refractive index. So yes, absolute refractive index, it is the ability of the medium to slow down the speed of light passing through that particular medium. We all know that the speed of light is the highest in the vacuum, and it is lesser than the speed in the vacuum in all the other media. So what is the mathematical relationship for that absolute refractive index of a medium? That is mentioned over here as speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in the medium, which is always greater than 1. Moving on to the OR part of this question, again a very simple question. No chance of making any calculation errors in this particular question, because direct formula based on for the relationship between the focal length and your power of the lens, that is simply mentioned over here. Make sure that you have I believe you would have not made any errors in writing down the correct unit in this particular question. Yes, so for the lens in which the power is mentioned as in which the focal length is mentioned as 0.4, that is positive one, is going to be a convex lens, and the one in which the power or the focal length is negative will be your concave lens. Very simple question. I'm expecting that all of you would have got it correctly. Okay, so moving on to the seventh question, that is based again for your this, you can see that is based on your biology over here. That is question number 7. That is one major difference between asexual and sexual reproduction, a question which you would have already attempted, I believe so, several times in your previous sample papers or while practicing the questions as such from this particular chapter, that is reproduction. Okay, so this question is again directly from your NCERT, if I may try to emphasize on that particular fact. Okay, and the second part of that question was that which one is more likely, or you can say that which one which species is likely to have comparatively better chances of survival. So the answer for that would be the sexual reproduction, the one which is producing sexually. The reason for that is that because of very high variation which promote the survival chances, due to that your sexual reproduction is having better chance of survival. Okay. Moving on to the next portion, the question number 8, that you can see, that is as I had told you previously in my strategy session, that if the numerical is asked from the current electricity chapter, then it is going to be based definitely on the series and parallel combination of the resistors. And you can clearly see that yes, that is the concept used in the question number 8. That is how to get the equivalent resistance. So you had to just rearrange those 3 resistors which were of 9 ohms, and you would have obtained these. This is the first setup. This is the first diagram, the circuit diagram, for which you would have got the equivalent resistance as 4.5 or 13.5 as this is for your 4.5, and you can see that over here for this one you are having the 13.5 over here as this one over here, because your 9 and this 9 will combine as parallel, so it will be 4.5 added with 9 will give you 13.5. And similarly for the equivalent resistance as 6 ohms, this one would be the arrangement of the resistors. So a very simple question over here all over again. This might be a bit tricky if you basically you had to imagine that what could be the setup as such over here. Not a direct question from NCERT, but yes, a bit tricky as such over here. Question number 8. We want to the next question that we have for that is your question number 9 as such. If I move on to the question number 9, or basically we have one more or part of the 8th question. Joule's law of heating. Very simple. What is Joule's law of heating? So you just have to mention this statement and the very simple one of the formulae that you have studied, that is heating, that is H is equals to I square RT, and the relationship that how Joule's law of heating is related with your current, resistance, and time. That's it. That would have fetched you the full marks in that A part of the 8th question. Okay, another this numerical portion over here, this is a very standard question, the very standard numerical that you can see in this B portion over here, that you had to, first of all, you had to evaluate the resistance of both the bulbs. Okay, how would we have evaluated the resistances? The resistances would be evaluated using the relationship that is P is equals to V square upon R. This formula you had to use over here. And after getting the resistances, you can see that you are getting the resistance of the first bulb as 484, and for the second bulb it is this one. So these bulbs are connected in parallel. So for parallel, the net resistance would be 302.5 ohm, and accordingly, for getting the value of the current that is being drawn from the battery, just you have to use that I is equals to V upon R, and you would have got the final answer as 0.73 amperes. So this is the answer for the 8th question. Moving on to the 9th question, again from your biology portion over here. Simple theoretical question that you can see directly from your NCERT. In this question, you had to mention all the hormones which are secreted by these particular different glands. And if you have mentioned only one of the hormones, then there are chances that you might not get the complete marks in this particular question. But if you have mentioned like at least all these particular glands or all these particular hormones, then you are sure to get full marks in this question as well. You can see the functions as well for each of the hormones as such in this particular slide over here. Right. Moving on to the next one, that is the question number 10, that is from your NCERT based on your chemistry portion over here. This reaction is present in your NCERT. So if you have referred that thing, then you would have got the answer from that. You would have definitely got the answer, that is okay. And name the gas. What was the gas that was evolved? The gas is your hydrogen gas over here. You can see that hydrogen gas is the one that we are talking, that was asked in the question as well. Okay, the or part of this question has ambiguity. Okay, the reason being, you can see that it was mentioned that pH of a salt used to make tasty and crispy pakoras is 14, but we know that the pH of a salt is not going to be 14 as such, right? So there was some ambiguity, there was some I believe so there's definitely some correction required over here, that the pH, in the value of the pH, that is 14. Although the answer for this one would be your baking soda, that is NaHCO3, that is over here. Baking soda would be your final answer, sodium hydrogen carbonate over there, right? And which has the pH value as something approximately equals to 8.4, which is not equal to 14. So there is some correction, or probably you will get some grace marks probably in this particular answer, in this particular question as such over here. But NaHCO3 was the answer for this question. Okay. Moving on to the next question over here, that is from your chemistry, that is, let me emphasize on this fact that yes, this question was present in the top 100 questions which we had sent to you. If you had solved those particular questions, then you would have attempted this particular, then you would have got this particular question as such in those top 100 questions, and it would have been a piece of cake for you, this particular question. Okay, talking about the A part, what is the reason that your carbon compounds have poor conductivity? The reason is that there is a lack of electrons, due to which they are very poor conductors of electricity. The B part of this question, you would have, if you have given this particular example, you would have seen that there are 18 single bonds present in it. That was the answer for the 11th question, B part. Okay, moving on to the next part, the next question, that is question number 12. Direct question again from your NCERT. These reactions are present in your NCERT. Okay, so if you have, you should have definitely got this one as well correct. If you are not confused with the reactions, I had already told you that you need to stick to the reactions which are only present in your NCERT, nothing else, nothing apart from that. Okay, directly you can see the solution of this 12th question as well over here. Moving on to the 13th question, theoretical question, a very simple question. You would have definitely got it correct. You had to just you had to ensure that you are mentioning all the answers in points, as you can see over here for the 13th question. It's from your bio as such, right? It's a question, very simple theoretical question as such, right? Okay, moving on to the next 14th question, that is from your value-based question as such over here. This was from the chapter management of natural resources, okay, from your biology portion as such over here. And yes, definitely, if you had mentioned any of these points, you can see that what would be the probable points for which you can get the full marks over here for the 14th value-based questions are mentioned over here. Okay, you can see that there is no point. You can see that in the that what are the two ways or such two measures to manage the garbage we produce. That is, first of all, we can segregate the biodegradable and non-biodegradable. That is one of the ways. And if we follow the 3Rs method, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle, in that way you can see that how we can manage the garbage that we produce. As an individual, what can we do to generate the least garbage? For that, we can reduce the use of the plastic. Okay, and if we are able to use the kitchen waste as the compost, then again you can basically you can say that we can basically reduce the garbage that is being produced or that is being generated. That these are 2 points that you can mention. Then these are two values which the teacher instilled in his students in this particular episode. You can mention any of these 2 points as such over here, and you would have got the right answer. Okay, moving on to the next 15th question over here. That is how is the resistor? What is the resistance depending on? So if you recall that the relationship of resistance with resistivity, length, and A, R is equal to rho L by A, you would have got the correct answer, and you would have at least mentioned these 3 points. I am not sure if you have also mentioned the 4th point as such over here. That is the nature of the material, as well as this. Sorry, I'm talking about this. The 3rd point, the temperature of the conductor as well. That is also going to influence the value of the resistance of the conductor. So that is the key point. If you have not forgotten that part, the 3rd point, then you would have got the full marks in that particular question as well. Okay, moving on to the next portion that we have. Why are metal good conductors of electricity? Yes, definitely, that is because they have a good number of the free electrons, due to which they are able to conduct electricity. This theory portion, its elaborate answer you can observe over here. And why do we use alloys why are alloys commonly used as an electrical heating devices? The reasons are that it has a higher melting point and it doesn't get easily oxidized at higher temperatures. So these are the 2 points for the C part of the 15th question. Okay, moving on to the 16th question that we have over here. That is, you had to state the Fleming's left hand rule over here. So you can just elaborate on that Fleming's left hand rule, that how do we use the Fleming's left hand rule over here. Okay, and you would have got the correct answer for this. So if you know how to use the Fleming's left hand rule, just write. If you have written it correctly in your own language, then no issues, you will get the full marks in this portion, in this part of the 16th question as well. Working principle of an electric motor. I had already mentioned that for AC generator and electric motor, you have to study the its functioning with the diagram. So if you have also mentioned the diagram for this 16th question, you would have got the correct the full marks in this particular question. I had also emphasized on the fact that the functioning of each and every part, or each and every function, or each and every the part of an electric motor was also to be remembered, or was also to be studied. So you can clearly see that how armature, brushes, and split ring, these 3 things have been directly asked over here for the different parts of the electric motor and its functioning. Okay. Okay, moving on to the 17th question. Again, you can see it's directly from your NCERT, that is from your biology portion. That is the functions of the different functions of the human female reproductive system. I had already mentioned that a question from the human reproductive system can be asked, and clearly we can see that for female reproductive system, it has been asked over here. So for ovary, or for oviduct, and for uterus, so you can clearly see that how we are to give this particular answer. As well as a diagram for this was also asked, that describe in brief the structure and function of placenta. So you can, I'll show you the figure as well, that what exactly is placenta and how are we going to, what is the function of the placenta as well. You can see over here, and the diagram of placenta you were to draw this one over here. Okay, for this 18th question of your biology portion. That was for the 17th question of your biology. Okay, the next question that we have is the 18th one, that is from your chemistry portion. Once again, this question is coming directly from the top 100 questions which we had sent to you. That is for the extraction of the metals. I had emphasized that yes, refining of the metals and the extraction of metals you must definitely study, and you can clearly observe that we have a question for the how is copper extracted from its sulfide ore. So that has been clearly asked over here. All of these reactions are once again from your NCERT. So you should have got this particular answer as well. Okay, from an NCERT question, this question was a bit lengthy. The question number 18, I can say yes, if you have mentioned all the points, all the steps, all the reactions, and if probably with the diagram, then it would have taken a lot of your time as such. Okay, Moving on to the 19th question, if I talk about the 19th question over here, yes, again, you have your question from your NCRT, nothing beyond your NCRT, from your biology and your chemistry portion. I can clearly say about that. One question from chemistry was out of NCRT. We'll discuss about that part as well. So need not worry about that. So mention it, two components of blood. You could have mentioned any of the two components like your RBC, plasma, white blood cells, or platelets. If you mentioned any of those two, you would have got the correct answer, or you would have got the full marks in that particular part as well. Then trace the movement of oxygenated blood in the body. So it is from the lungs, then through pulmonary vein to your left auricle or your atria, then to left ventricle, then to aorta, and then to your body. So that is going to be the movement of the oxygenated blood in the body. Function of the walls present in between your atria and ventricles, you can clearly observe. Very simple function over here. Difference between artery, the basic structural difference between artery and veins. Very simple theoretical question. If you mentioned like 2 points for this, two differences for this artery and veins, definitely you are going to get the full marks in this question number 19 as well. Okay, the outer part of this one is what is excretion, and what is the basic filtration unit which is present, that is your nephron for this particular B part of this question, that is in the kidney. And what is the C part of this, that how do we form urine, that is from your kidneys form the urine. And the diagram for this one, okay, the diagram for this one as well over here, you have to draw the excretory system in the human being. So this is going to be the diagram, very simple and very basic diagram of this particular portion over here. The question number 20 is from your chemistry portion, that is simple questions over here, that is from that what modern periodic table has. So you had to mention some of the advantages and limitations of the 3 attempts. That is from your, you can see that Dobrinder's strides and the Newland's law of octaves and the Mendeleev's periodic table. So you had to mention these simple, one advantage and one disadvantage, or basically one limitation for these 3. Okay. The scientist's name was Moseley. I suppose that you would have got the correct answer. You would be remembering that particular name of the scientist. Moseley was the right answer. Make sure that you have mentioned the spelling correct for this particular answer over here. Okay. Modern periodic table. What is the modern periodic law? You had to, again, a simple question over here, that what is this particular law? You can see that if you arrange the elements on basis of their increasing atomic numbers, you find that the elements with similar physical and chemical behavior will be grouped together after a certain interval of elements. So this was your, you can say that this is how we are going to describe your modern periodic law. Okay. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 21. A question again based on the defect of eye has came over here, and this time it is myopia. Okay, a question based on the defect of eye, that is myopia. The correction, what is the cause of it? I had clearly emphasized in my analysis session, in my strategy session on 13, that you have to definitely study about the myopia, hypermetropia, and presbyopia, its causes, what are its ways of correction, and a simple numerical based on that. So you can clearly see that figure is again directly from your NCRT, not from anywhere outside. And another very important part was the very simple one, that is the diagram of the human eye. Okay, the different functions, or the different the variations, or which are the important points to be remembered. One very simple points which are to be remembered for the different parts of your eye. That is over here, it has been asked for your cornea, iris, crystalline lens, and ciliary muscle. So if you were comfortable with the human eye figure and the function of each and every part of it, then definitely you would have got it correctly. And without any wasting time, this question shouldn't have taken much of your time over here, because no figure is required. You just have to simply mention one simple statement. And again, a simple discussion, a simple theoretical a logical question was asked over here, that what is the reason behind the early sun, this particular thing, that is over here, that is what, that why do stars twinkle, or basically why does the sun appear reddish early in the morning and in the evening? So that is a explanation over here. Moving on to the section B, what we can see over here, that it is coming from your bio portion over here, that is how does amoeba reproduces by binary fission. Amoeba basically produces by binary fission. You can see that how it is basically happening over here. The question was asked that name the process by which an amoeba produces. So the correct answer would be your binary fission. And if you have drawn this figure as well, no chance that you are going to lose any mark in this particular question. And also it was asked to draw the various stages. So these are the various stages, that is parent cell, then nucleus divides, and then cytoplasm divides, and then two daughter cells are produced. The or part of this question is that regarding that yeast wala portion, you can see that yeast produces asexually with the help of budding over here. This you can clearly see with the particular figure as well. Abhi tak I believe so that all of you would have been comfortable with all of these questions over here. Moving on to the question number 23. Again, it is a numerical from your this portion, physics portion. If you have got this correct answer, then it is good. You will get the full marks with the figure as well. Again, you should have got the figure as well. You should have drawn the figure as well for this question. Question number 24 specifically. Yes, this one was a tricky and a good question. Okay, this one was a tricky and a good question. For the test tube A, basically the correct answer would be that you would obtain the colorless solution. For the test tube A, you will get the colorless solution, as well as for the test tube B, you will get the colorless solution. Okay. And then for the test tube C, you will be obtaining that there will be no reaction in the test tube C. And in the test tube D, you will be obtaining a solution which turns from blue to green. From blue to green, you can see that. And why it is turning into green? Because of the presence of FeSO4. That due to which there is a change in the color observed. So the correct, so the in which test tube do we observe the change in the color? That is in the test tube number D. And which is the most reactive metal amongst them? Aluminium is the most reactive metal, and you can clearly see that why it is happening so. Okay, it is at the top of the reactivity series. Again, the next question, that is question number 25, is from your NCRT. If it's not basically from your NCRT, but yes, you will obtain a white PPT of your BaSO4 in this 25th. That is the correct answer over here. This is a white PPT of white precipitation of BaSO4 that you will be obtaining as such over here. That is the answer for this question. And what is the reaction that is being used? What is the reaction that we have over here? The reaction is the precipitation reaction as such. This white PPT is again your insoluble material. Okay, it is going to be insoluble, right? And the reaction that we have is the precipitation reaction. 26th question, you had to draw the graph. It was a very simple graph. You had to just mention the these values of the potential in the y-axis and the current in the x-axis, and you had to plot the diagram, plot the points, and then join them with a straight. They would be coming in the particular straight line. That is basically they are verifying our Ohm's law. That is V is equals to IR. That is what they are concluding. That is the summary of this particular graph over here. Okay, so based on that question, based on the graph, you were supposed to ask this. You were supposed to find out the resistance. So finding the resistance was basically just finding the slope, and that would be your 5 ohms. The question number 27 is again directly from your NCRT. All the steps of preparation of a temporary amount of a leaf peel to observe stomata. You can clearly observe all the steps over here. So these are the various answers. These are the different answers over here that we have for all the questions. I believe so that you would have got most of the answers correctly. And just in case if you're still not satisfied with the answers, the brief discussion that we have had right now, you may just log into our site. You will get the detailed solution that we are having over here in our site, so you can just have a look at what exactly, if you are anxious enough to know that, okay, how much marks am I going to score out of 80, you may just have a look at those particular detailed solutions and satisfy yourself with that. As well as, guys, we will be having a next session on Monday for SST. I hope all of you will be present for that. MN top 100 questions are very, very important, because clearly in this particular paper, if I talk about something around 18.5 marks were directly asked from our MN top 100 questions. So those top 100 questions are very much essential, not only essential for your science paper, but also it will be essential for your, I can say it's going to be very much useful for your next 2 exams, that is your social studies as well as your mathematics, right? So all the best to you all, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the session. And a slight one more discussion over here regarding the difficulty level. Let me not skip that portion over here. It was 60% on the easier side that you can see over here, and 36% on a moderate level. Compared to the previous year, okay, yes, it was a bit easy compared to our previous year analysis if I compare it from a 2017 portion. Okay, guys, so that's it from Merit Nation. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Keep studying hard for your next upcoming examinations that are for your SST, for your social studies, and for your mathematics as such. So thank you, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Take care and bye-bye.